What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Immersive Engineering. Now, I've been doing a fair bit of work off camera to mainly prep for today's episode, just so that we could get on here and jump into something fun with Immersive Engineering. But I do want to give a brief overview of what I've been doing off camera, just so you guys aren't completely lost as to what's in front of you right now, or where I got my resources from, all that good stuff. So I'm going to do that really quick, and then we can jump into making the crusher and getting a nice effective setup for it. So this thing right in front of you is hopefully going to be the front of my new base. I wasn't really a huge fan of just living outside because I was getting attacked every night by monsters, but unfortunately the house isn't done yet. If we come through the front doors, you can see it kind of ends right here. So it's not really offering much protection, but it did allow me to set up some more water wheels, so we should have a decent power setup going right now, roughly 180 RF per tick, and we can really easily access the kinetic dynamos right here on both sides, so that we can just throw some wires from these and bring them back to a capacitor, which we will hopefully get done later today. So that's what's going on with this. If you have any feedback on this or any advice on how to make it look not really bland, feel free to post in the comments. But I really don't have that many blocks to work with, just because I'm only using Immersive Engineering. So next thing I want to cover are my resources, and mainly all I did was just mine and mine and mine just to get iron. That whole time I only got like 4 diamonds, but I was able to get all this iron, good amount of copper, and then there's just some miscellaneous things in here. I did have to go to the nether because we are going to have to make the blast furnace before we jump into making the crusher, but we're going to do that real quick, so I will cover the resources you need for that, but it was mainly just mining and going to the nether. So that pretty much covers everything I did off camera, and that's a really brief summary of what I did over the course of a couple hours. It took me a really long time. I'm not really proud of that, but that is perfectly fine because you guys don't have to bear with me doing all that. So now we can get into the fun immersive engineering stuff. So we are going to be making the blast furnace today. So if we take a look at the blast brick, it's essentially going to be the same thing that we needed to use to make the coke oven. You're going to need 27 because it's full in the center, and that means we're going to need to get 28, and that means we need to do the recipe 14 times. So we need 14 blaze powder, and then 56 bricks and 56 nether bricks. So I got perfect amount of bricks here, perfect amount of blaze rods, and a little bit more nether brick, but that's perfectly fine. We just smelted down some netherrack. So we can grab the blaze powder right here, throw it in the center, get all the bricks out, and then we just got to throw the nether bricks in, and we are good to go. Then we can construct this. I don't actually know where I want to put it. I guess we can just kind of throw it pretty much anywhere. I'm going to move it later. I guess we can just throw it right here. And we're going to use this to make a bunch of steel, because the crusher requires a pretty good amount of steel. I think it takes roughly 129 iron, if my calculations were correct, to make the entire crusher alone. And then we're going to need some more on top of that to make the conveyor belts. So that's why I have so much iron. But we can get our engineer's hammer out here. Click on this, you can see it makes it into the multi-block, and if we click on this, all we got to do is throw some iron in there and some fuel, and we can start making some of the steel. So I'm going to be really cautious. I don't actually know how much iron we need to convert to steel, but it's all going to be done off camera, so when we jump back, it is going to be fully converted. So I'm going to let you guys go right now, and when we jump back, we can start making the crusher. So I will see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so we're back, and it looks like I just finished all the steel that I need. I actually only need 12, but that still took 12 minutes to cook up. So it's actually pretty slow, but luckily it's not actually that much steel. So now we actually have to go through and craft all the different pieces of this. So first things first that we need to craft are going to be steel fences. So we actually only need to craft 1 set of these, and we should have 2 of them left over, I believe. Not really going to use them for anything as far as I'm aware, so we can just toss those there. Next thing we're going to need to make is going to be the steel scaffolding. Now this is where we're going to use 6 of the steel fences. We actually need 10 of these, but they come in pairs of 6. So we're going to need to do 2 sets of those, and once again we're going to have 2 left over. So that's actually all the steel that we're going to need. I got to put another set in there. So there we go. So we got 12 of those, and that's all the steel we're going to need. And then we're going to need 8 steel fences, just plain, and then we got the 2 left over. And the next 2 things we're going to need are actually going to be the light engineering blocks, which are going to take up a significant chunk of iron. I believe these actually take over a stack of iron because we need to make 11 of these. So we need to make 1 extra. Got to do this recipe 6 times, and it's going to take 12 iron per recipe, because we need 2 of these per, and let's just think, so if we need 2 of those per, that means we're going to have to do that 12 times. So I don't even know why I'm just slowly putting it in there. Let's throw some in here. Let's get it up to 12 on each side and just pull them out. So 12, and throw some of the copper in there, and there we go. So we got 12 of those, and I think that's all we needed to do. Yep, there we go. And 12. So that's all we need on that front. And the very last thing that we need to make is going to be 9 hoppers. So this is actually going to use up a good chunk of wood and also another good chunk of iron. So we're going to need to make 72 planks worth of chests. So we got 9 chests going there, and just enough going on here. Whoops, there we go. So we got 9 of those now, and that should actually be everything we need to make the crusher multi-block structure itself. So we'll just line that up down here so you guys can take a look, and I will get the exact block numbers going on down here, and we just gotta toss one thing back in there and we can get them just right. So there we go. So we got 11 light engineering blocks, 9 hoppers, 10 steel scaffolding, and 8 steel fences. So when I make this, I'm going to probably put it, let's just put it right over here somewhere. We can put it like right here. So what we're going to do is take a look at the engineer's manual, and this is going to be your best friend through this mod because it's actually really useful when you're making these multi-block structures. So open it up right now. I already went to the crusher page, but I will take you guys back just so that I can show you where to go. So you open it up and there's update news. There's just a nice little overview of all the different things in the mod, different things on power and construction, simple tools and machines, and then you get to the heavy machinery. And this is where you start getting those multi-block structures going here. And of course, second one down is the crusher, which is a 3-level multi-block structure, 3x3x5, and it's actually pretty cheap to make compared to the other ones, but it says crushing ore is an effective way of increasing their yield. For each ore creates 2 dust, so it's pretty much like pulverizing stuff, and of course when we're playing with only immersive engineering, we have to pulverize it. So you can just go through the different levels here by going down. So the first level is going to take 3 light engineering blocks, then a bunch of scaffolding, and then 2 more. So let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll end it right here. So let's just, I'm actually going to get it in line with this right here, and we can break that. I want to make sure I have enough room. Actually, you know, we'll move it over 1. I just want to make sure I have enough room that we're going to be able to set it up and power it correctly. So we set it up like that, then we put these here, wrap them around the 2 light engineering blocks there, and I believe like that. So let me go back to the manual. Looks just about right. Then go up, and remember you want this side, I believe it's this side facing out. Yes, it is. So you want this side facing out right here, the one that has the very center of the length of it with a light engineering block, because this is going to be the front. So you're going to do it like that, and then you're going to do the second layer, which is going to be more light engineering blocks across the top, and then we are going to need to, let's take a look at it again, steel fencing around a light engineering block in the center. So here's where you're going to use the 8 steel fencing right around here, and 2 light engineering blocks on the very end. Now the very last layer, I'll look at it in here, I already know it's 9 hoppers that are going to go over these center, well the center 3x3 right here. So just like that. And this should be good, this should make the crusher. Now it's going to look a lot different than this, like right here you'd be like, whoa, that's supposed to be a crusher. Yep, let's take the engineering hammer and give that a little bit of a whack, and boom, there we go. We have the crusher now. Now this is a really interesting multi-block structure because I need to, here, let's go up onto the roof here. Let's take the ladder up onto the roof so I can show you guys. This is where you dump things in. You actually dump legitimate items in there. It's not just going to be dumping, or you don't just input them. You legitimately dump them with a conveyor belt or something into there, throw them in there, and then it produces the item and will output it right there. So it's pretty interesting. I'm going to make sure that we have redstone. You can turn it on and off with redstone. You can also cut the power because it does take power. I believe 120 RF per tick, but there's a bunch of different control panels on the sides and stuff. but all you really need to know is to dump stuff in the top and pull it out here. So now we got to go and actually make some conveyor belts so that we can input things and pull them out. And I have to say, immersive engineering conveyor belts are some of the coolest things I have messed around with in a very, very long time. So we're going to find the conveyor belts in here, and you can see it's right here. It's going to take a good amount of leather and then just some iron and some redstone. So we're going to make 2 sets of these. You know what, actually we'll make 3. Then some redstone and some iron. So you get that. And then we're going to take one of these, and we are actually going to need to make another hopper, and we're going to turn it into a dropping conveyor belt. So we'll make the hopper, and then we just throw that right below a conveyor belt, and it makes a dropping conveyor belt. And the last thing we're going to do, actually we don't need to make more of these, we can just grab these and bring them over. So we can just break those. And let me just clean up my inventory a little bit. It's getting pretty messy in here, all the different blocks. Okay, so what we need to do is make it so that all the stuff gets put in here. And it's going to be a little awkward to start. I may need to move this around a little bit later once I get a little bit more of the base situated, but I wanted to make it so it's relatively close to the wall. But we're going to set these up so you drop it on the conveyor belt and it gets brought up and dropped in the top here. And once it does that, it then comes at the bottom here and gets smelted. So I guess we can just start it right here, and you can see if you were to stand on this, it would bring you along, or if you were to, let's say, throw whatever, like a pork chop there, it would carry it along. So that seems pretty cool. But another thing you can do is actually let's take this and let's put it right over here like this, and then we need to start changing how they're oriented. Now I want to make sure that I can do this right. So we take the engineer's hammer, and you can just right click on it to change the way it goes, but if you shift right click, it alters the way it goes like this. And you can also rotate it then like this. So we're going to be using this to get it up to that height. So I guess we actually are going to, I'm trying to think of the best way to move it up there, just because of the way it's positioned with our base right now. You know what, let's bring it up on this side. We'll drop the ores over here, and I think we can... See, the thing is, I actually think we might have wanted it oriented differently just because of having the wall right here, but I think we should be okay. We're going to want to sleep soon, though, just so that we don't get ambushed by monsters, but we can just throw this. Let's just throw it right here. We'll throw it right here for now, and throw this right here. Bring it up one, and let's get some cobble. Whoops, we don't want to put the hammer away though. We'll get the cobble, and we can throw it here, and just do the same thing, and just keep it going up, and get up here and do the same thing again, and bring it up again. And I'm going to sleep because I don't want things to get blown up. And it's really not well lit around the base, so I probably should do that. It'd be pretty easy to just run around and throw torches down, but I'm lazy. So now it would bring you all the way up here and then just drop you off and do some damage to us. But we're going to drop it in here, and we actually need to be really careful. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was going to say we need to be really careful, because if you drop in here as a player, you're going to take some damage. So it's not running right now, but if it were running, I'd need to be really, really careful up here. So we can throw this right here, and we can throw that down like this, and it seems to be pushing it in the right direction. So do that again, and yes, we're gonna have to rotate it, bring it up again, and rotate it again, and then one last time just to get it centered over this, and then put one there. And then we can rotate. Whoops. We can rotate it like that and like that. So that should drop items directly in here. Now, the way that this is going to work is you can drop players in here and take damage. You can drop ores in here and crush them. You can pretty much drop anything that gets pulverized in the regular game in here, and it will do that action for you. But if you were to throw an item in here, like let's say, you know, a furnace or something, it would just destroy it. Any item that can't get pulverized just gets completely destroyed in here. So try to not drop extra stuff in here. Eventually, I'll come up with a better way to actually get the items in here, but for now, I'm just going to throw them on this conveyor belt and let them get spit out in the bottom. And I guess what we can do is put this like this. I think it should be able to drop it onto this conveyor belt right here, even though it's going this way. I don't think we need to pull it straight out right away. But so bring it out like this, and then we can take the furnace, and it's going to be a little bit awkward for now. Eventually I might make a little area below this to actually get the stuff. But we should be able to put a furnace there, and then we should be able to take the dropping conveyor belt and put it here, and we can rotate that, and we can just verify that it's actually working by throwing that there and seeing that it drops in there. And so we could either throw some coal coke in there if we really wanted to, or we could go over and put some power using the external heater, which I will eventually do once I hook these up. But I want to hook this thing up first and get it some power. So we need to go and use our low voltage cable with our connectors over here, and we can stay at low voltage because right now we're getting 180 RF per tick if we combine both of these, and these can hold up to 256. So I'm going to combine them like this, and I'm just going to do this where I'm putting it up to the ceiling, and I'm actually going to break this right here because we don't need these ladders going upstairs anymore. So just break them like that and fill in this hole, and then we can start connecting them. And I get achievements that I should have already gotten. The one thing is I do need to be a little bit cautious right now just of where I'm positioning stuff, because it is going to need to get moved just because I don't have the ceiling on. So we'll put one right here. Just eventually I'll move it around a little bit, and I'm gonna have to go get some more wire. So get some sticks, and we're gonna need a good amount of this, so can't hurt to make extra. So there we go. And now we can take the conveyor belt back up here, and I believe we're going to have to hook it up with power right here. So I'm going to want that to get power. Bring it over. I feel like this will definitely be obstructing the view, so I'm just going to carry this across, and what we can actually do here is just go like this, and instead of having one here, we can just break this, and these wires can go all the way up to 16 blocks, so it'll easily be able to go over there, and then this can get connected there, and it should start running. Okay guys, so we are back, and I've actually done absolutely nothing. I didn't actually think to test things out by throwing an item in there, but then I did right when I got off camera, and it made it into sand. So I'll throw another cobble on here, and you can see how it works. It carries the item up, and then it gets dropped in there, and then it makes an animation, pops it out down here onto the conveyor belt, and it goes right into the furnace. And then obviously we would hook this up to power and the external heater, and it should be good to go. So what I've been meaning to do with this is then set up a capacitor, which we'll just use. I mean, we can use the medium voltage if we really want, because now we can actually, or we should be able to make Electrum. So what we need to do is, scroll through to get the Electrum grit, and you need silver grit and gold grit to make the Electrum. So we're going to be able to get that with our nice crusher now. So we come over here, we can get some gold, and I got to just restack all this stuff and get some silver. And we actually only need to get a couple pieces of it. So we can toss this in there, and it'll get popped out here and just shot over to the side because it actually can't get dropped in there. And ooh, it looks like it made a little bit extra. So I think I actually am going to have to make a chest down here just so that there's a little bit of a buffer, and then it gets put through a hopper into this and then pulled out again with a hopper. So yeah, it should be fine to work like that. But we just need to throw some gold in here now to go along with that, and we should be able to make the capacitor. Now capacitors are pretty much how you're going to store energy in this, and the low voltage stores 100,000 RF, the medium voltage stores 1 million, and the high voltage stores, is that 4 million? Yeah. So that's pretty much how they work. They have an input and output that you can control using the engineering hammer. And it looks like we're going to have to drop something real quick just to open up some space in the inventory. No, we do not want this lead grit. We want the gold grit. And we can just use this in our inventory. Where is it? There we go. To make the Electrum. And we can use this coal coke down here to cook up the Electrum grit. And we're actually only going to need 2 of those, but I'll save the rest because eventually we're going to need some more of these medium voltage capacitors, because I'm not going to be happy with just 1 million RF buffer. Might want a little bit more, just because these don't generate power very fast, so it'd be really nice to have a buffer if I'm ever cooking down a bunch of stuff and have a lot of stuff running at once and can't get enough power. So we got 2 now, so we can just start making it and pull out the rest later. So to make this, it's going to take lead, iron, redstone, and treated wood. So we do have 2 treated wood. We can get the redstone quite easily. And we do have lead, but we do need to cook this down. Only need 1 piece though, so we can really easily just run over here and, or you know what, we have 2 extra furnaces in our inventory. Why not just throw these down over here and use them? And we got some extra coal in there that can't even be made into coke because the creosote is stuck in there and I haven't pulled it out yet. So we can throw the lead in there, let it cook down, and just so that I don't waste this, I will throw the rest of the lead in here too, so that we get to use up the full 8 pieces worth of coal. And now we should be good to go. Running a little bit low on iron, but that's to be expected. And you know what, actually we need to make the block of redstone first. And I gotta grab the treated wood too. Oh gosh, my inventory is so horrific right now. There we go. Perfect amount of treated wood planks. Block of redstone, iron, and lead. So there we go. Medium voltage capacitor. Now we got to come back in here and grab out the low voltage wire connectors. And this should be just enough actually to get this working. So what we can do right here is break this block, and we can throw down the external heater there. There we go. External heater can go right there, and we can alter it so that this side is accepting. We can throw this right here, and I guess it actually, yeah, we can leave that right there and connect these 2. But what we can also do is right over here, right at, let's just say, I don't actually know where I want to put this. I could put it in multiple places if I really wanted to, but let's just put it like right here. Let's just break this. Oh gosh, it's going to break 3 connected wires. Give me my pickaxe. Okay, so we're going to put this right here. And you know what, it actually should probably be on the ground because it needs to accept power. We'll do this. We'll put this right over here. We'll throw this back right there. Reconnect all of these. And then alter the sides. So blue and orange means that it's accepting through that side, and orange means that it's outputting. So we can do this, and then we are actually going to need to make another one of these. I'll sleep first, and then we can finish this off, and the setup should be done. Pretty much just a really simple setup to start out so that it pretty much auto cooks things down. Now one thing I need to take a look at is right here. We can break this one again and do it like this. So just connect it like this, nice and easy, and alter this side so it's nothing, make this side so it's outputting, throw that right there, and connect these, and then connect these. And then this should actually be getting stuff, so let's take some more gold. Let's throw it in here and see if this works. Yep, so it looks like this is working fine. It should get put into this, which should cook it down using power. That is awesome. Now one really last thing that I want to talk to you guys about before we end today's episode is we're going to take a look at, and I think we should be able to make, assuming we have enough iron. Where is it? Oh gosh. I'm trying to look for the picture of it, but I can't seem to find it. It's going to be to monitor. Okay, so there's 2 different ways to do this. So we could take the current transformer, which you can look at, and pretty much just get a reading of the power that's running through it at that. Like, it takes an average of the power running through it. And then there's a handheld device that I'm unable to find because I'm actually forgetting the name right now. Right here, here we go. Engineer's voltometer. So we're going to make this, and I believe that means we need to make a little bit more treated wood, unless we have some extra treated wood sticks around here somewhere, which I thought we actually might, but I guess not. Not too bad though, because we do have extra creosote. I just got to dump some of this water and we can make it. And what that'll do is it'll allow us to see how much power we're actually storing in certain things. So any machine that has a buffer, we can use the voltmeter to see what the machine is storing, and we can also use it to see what the medium voltage capacitor is storing. And the reason is because you could also use Whale Up, but I'm trying to use as few mods as possible. So because we don't have Whale Up to show us, we're gonna have to use this. So we can make the sticks, and then we're gonna need to make a compass and copper, and then the sticks, and there we go. So we have this, and it looks really, really funny. Look at us. It doesn't look like you're holding it with two hands here, but looks like you're holding it with two hands here. And the minute we go over this, we flick over this, you can see that it actually is a really weird thing that pops up. It doesn't update dynamically. So if we go off of it, you can see it's not updating. But if we right click it, you can see that the power is going up really fast. So this is actually getting us pretty good amounts of power. So right now, we're actually almost halfway full. And obviously I do have a lot of stuff to process through here, but it is filling up at a pretty decent rate. Obviously, 180 RF per tick is not really that great, but it'll do for now. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something. This is pretty much just a really simple setup that you can do to use power to pulverize and smelt stuff automatically. So all you got to do when you're done is just come over here, throw it down, and then hook up a chest to this, and you will be good to go. But yeah, if you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to post them below. I will always try and respond to help you guys out, because that is why we are doing this, so that I can help you guys learn about immersive engineering and maybe learn a couple more things as I go along the way. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later.